Well, Nick Sirianni officially shut down the benching Jalen Hurts talk. Not exactly a surprise, but the Eagles did make another roster move that could offer some hope. Meanwhile, Lane Johnson sounds like he's trending in the right direction to play versus the Raiders. Plus, after going through the film and breakdowns more, there's actually several reasons to have some hope around the Birds' offense. I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Philly's outlook may be better than you think, so let's talk about it. But first, let's run it.
I was much more encouraged from the Eagles' offense last night than I was many games this year.
What's up, guys? It's one thing for me to say it being the eternal optimist that I am, and then another thing entirely to have national analysts saying it. But overall, there's actually a bit more hope for the Eagles' offense than I think some people realize coming away from the Chargers' loss. Of course, I'll get to that in a second, but let's start with one story we can officially put to rest. The Eagles will not be benching Jalen Hurts, after Nick Sirianni called that idea ridiculous when asked about the possibility of making a change this season, saying QB1 is absolutely the starter for the Raiders game and the foreseeable future. Yeah, leaving Hurts quitters once again beside themselves. No! Sorry, I'm probably not helping anything by poking fun, but it seemed blatantly obvious for the direction we were headed. Yes, I get the fact that Jaelan became the first Eagles quarterback in 28 years to commit 5 turnovers in a game. Yet when you have 2 of the bigger known Hurts critics preaching patience, that's kind of all you need to hear.
But if I would have any confidence in any quarterback that has told me time and time again that I can get things right, that this team can play better, that I can play better, it would be Jalen Hurts. He came into the league under adversity. He played for a franchise that already had a quarterback they thought they were going to win multiple Super Bowls with in Carson Wentz. That ended up not working out. He was the second-round pick that wasn't supposed to play. He was the guy that couldn't throw in college. All of these things. He's built the right way. That's my point, Stephen A. I get where you guys are coming from. I understand what Kmart said, understand what you said, understand what Shrade said. But sometimes, can I just call crap on certain things that I hear?
But we can't take a quarterback who's on a historic pace to avoid interceptions this year, by the way, and immediately just rip him down the rankings off of 1 4-interception game, 2 of which were batted balls. Like, you have to be able to take these things more slowly and in stride and let some more games develop.
I stand before you today saying I take a lot of pride in the things that I can control, and at the end of the day, that's where it'll always begin and end in this game. And so I gotta do it. That's a part of the game. Success or greatness, those things aren't linear. You have your ups, you have your downs, but it's about how you respond to it. And I think about that. I mean, it's nothing new that I haven't faced before. It's a matter of responding to it, and I got a lot of confidence how we respond. I got a lot of confidence how it go.
Look, there's really no need for the knee-jerk reactions and getting too emotional. At the same time, though, I do want to make it clear, it's perfectly fine. I appreciate the differences of opinions, and sometimes we just have to agree to disagree. Although before you go freaking out over the report from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler about the Eagles considering drafting Jalen Hurts' replacement in this upcoming draft, it's important to add some context. For one, Fowler's report says some people were predicting Howie would snag a passer in day 2, which would allow Hurts to serve as the starter with the future guy to develop. And the thinking on that would be similar to what they did to Carson Wentz. Except it's not really that outlandish to suggest that Howie would draft a quarterback in the draft because he's done it multiple times. He's talked about wanting to be a quarterback factory, essentially. So, yeah. But also for Jaelan, he's done a ton more to warrant any kind of giving up on him so quickly. Again, if you're thinking Tanner McKee is the answer, then we can agree to disagree. Now that being said, Sirianni mentioned one thing on the latest episode of Hard Knocks that I think we all can agree with. And that was, you can't let the pains we experience cloud our love of the game. Of course, there's no denying we're struggling to be optimistic, but it's because of the insane passion for the Birds and knowing the type of potential they have. At the same time, seeing just the smallest interactions between Jaelan and AJ on Hard Knocks enjoying football and communicating again sparked a little more hope. So I figured let's spread some more of that hope, and we're going to give away 2 tickets to the Raiders game on this video. All you got to do, you guys know the drill, but drop a like on the video, leave a comment, anything will qualify, whatever you want to say down there in the comment section, but leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to pick one person to win 2 tickets to the game on Sunday. By the way, I'll spin for the winner on my next video, so stay tuned for that. Like I said, any comment will get you entered, but personally, I'd be curious to hear any kind of positivity or hope you still have in the Birds, so let me know in the comments. You know, perhaps getting rid of long snapper Cal Adamitis will do the trick after the Eagles announced they've waived him and activated Charlie Hewlett's practice window. Which best wishes to Cal, and we do appreciate him filling in while Hewlett was injured. And not that Adamitis had crazy struggles snapping the ball, but shout out to Brandon Lee Gouton, who pointed out that Jake Elliott has missed all 6 of his kicks this year with Adamitis as his long snapper. Meanwhile, with Hewlett, Elliott is Jake the Make and hasn't missed a single kick. Maybe it means something and maybe it doesn't, but the Eagles are also 4-0, just for the record if we can keep track, but 4-0 with Hewlett and 4-5 record, or only a 4-5 record with Adamitis back there.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
All right, that might be false hope, but getting Lane Johnson back would be a major boost, just like Underdog's insane boost this season. And if you want to take advantage for the Thursday Night Football game, then all you got to do is scan the QR code, use code Philly Special, or click the link in the description to get $75 in bonus funds. I'm telling you, with the NFL playoffs right around the corner, Underdog's boosted payouts and bonuses are only getting crazier, so you don't want to miss out on your chance to get signed up. Okay, Bucks, Falcons this week, and trying to hit this thing pretty big at the same time here, and you'll notice that this is what Underdog does. You get boosted payouts, you get promos, discounts, everything there. I got a Bucky Irving one, so we're going to go ahead and place that one, put that together, and then look at some of the other plays. So here's what I'm thinking. Drake London is out for the game. Kyle Pitts has already been a favorite target of Kirk Cousins, so I'm going to take the higher than 5.5 receptions. And also for the Falcons, Tyler Algier started to get more of a workload. He had double-digit touches last week against the Seahawks. Didn't work out well. Obviously, they got blown out. But I think this is a game where the Falcons get to the goal line area. They've used him more recently than Bijan Robinson, so I'm going to take an anytime touchdown with Tyler Algier. So again, there you go. You've got 73.5 rushing yards and receiving yards combined, higher for Bucky Irving, higher than 5.5 receptions for Kyle Pitts, and higher than, or basically an anytime touchdown score for Tyler Algier. Feel free to let me know what you think about those plays. The link in the description, or actually the link in the pinned comment, will allow you to tell that play. So go ahead, good luck to us. Let's try to hit that one on Thursday. We've been really close. We actually would have hit back-to-back weeks had Jalen Hurts' long run in the fourth quarter or overtime not been called back due to holding. So very, very close there. I think this one gets it done. Either way, scan the QR code, use code Philly Special, $5 bet, a $5 play will get you $75 in bonus funds. All right, back to the news on Lane. Sirianni wouldn't officially commit to anything and said we'll see about whether or not he'll play and if he's going to be available for Las Vegas. But judging by various media reports, it's seeming likely that Pave the Lane returns this week to play versus Las Vegas. Obviously, I'll keep you guys in the know throughout the week, so just make sure those notifications are turned on. Here's what I will say though, regardless of if Lane goes or not, the more film and breakdowns I watch, I can't help but be optimistic about the possibility of the Birds' offense turning a corner.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
I really don't blame you if you think I'm crazy and a glutton for punishment. However, like I shared briefly in the last video, Johnny Page echoed the same sentiment, saying, weirdly, there were some positive signs from Kevin Patullo's offense on Monday. For example, the Birds ran way more concepts like flooding one side of the field and ultimately putting defenders in a more difficult position. Again, not like it worked every play and Hurts didn't execute on multiple occasions. Yet you can see the subtle changes are much better than what we've seen the last several weeks. Like a few more designed rollouts, with this instance from Johnny highlighting rolling out Hurts and moving the pocket while stretching the field horizontally and vertically on the same play. Which, is just something we've been asking for weeks.
It's beautiful.
There is some promise, let's just say that. Although keeping it real, the coaches continue to spam inside zone from the gun under the guise that something will magically change. Serving as a reminder, like Johnny said, the bad parts of this offense are catastrophically bad and still idiotic.
Hello? Anybody home?
Remember, Nick Sirianni apparently got more involved with the Eagles offense before the Chargers game, and yes, they had some issues, quite a bit of issues, execution, turnovers. Still, the play calling wasn't great, but we did see some changes and a lot more under center, which until further notice is 100% a cheat code for the Eagles. Because my gosh, get the double teams working inside and you can see the ability that Saquon has. Plus, then you sprinkle in the under center play action with Hurts throwing into the intermediate area after flooding one side of the field, and oh baby, now we are talking. Seriously, watch it again and it looks almost unrecognizable for what we've seen the last several weeks. Under center, play action, throw over the middle, and a catch in stride that's not hitches.
Now we're cooking with gas.
I was much more encouraged from the Eagles offense last night than I was many games this year.
From the play calls, the offense, or not Jaelan? Just the play calls or everything?
Just the play calls, the style of offense. They were way more scheme diverse. They had way more route options. There were guys open more consistently last night than there have been all season.
Score 19 points.
Yeah.
And you kick all those field goals, that's not good. And the turnovers, it's going to be hard to win a game when you turn the ball over like that. But I thought the way that they actually moved and kind of sustained some offense and got some chunks, and I thought that looked better, and it looked like Jaelan improved in some areas right there.
I'm really not sure why it took this long, and hear me out. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm not even saying it's halfway to being fixed, but it's better. And the fact that they actually be able to improve that, it's the best thing we've seen conceptually since the bye week by a wide margin. Again, as Jonny pointed to, we saw far fewer 2x2 static concepts and a lot more expansive passing plays. Although yes, the turnovers were inexcusable and the coaches continue to make head-scratcher decisions, like running a counter and pulling arguably your two worst blockers in Camp Blockatera and Tyler Steen, which, went about how you'd expect. Or really late in the fourth quarter, they decided to throw a screen pass to Devontae Smith, and I'm sorry, but those continue to be the most predictable, easy-to-defend plays for the defense, so they really need to just be scrapped. Having said that, I'm with Jonny that those plays can go, but the concern is that Sirianni and Patullo revert back to ultra-conservative play calling after watching 5 turnovers in LA. Now, hopefully we don't see that, because think about it. You got the Raiders coming to town, and this is the perfect opportunity to take those good concepts you had and build off them, keep that momentum going in the right direction for the last several weeks of the season. I mean, I'm not saying go crazy aggressive, but this could be a really good building block to keep this thing rolling in the right direction. Anyway, I've been trying to look at this as optimistically as I can to find any kind of hope compared to teams in the past, and there could be, I'm saying could, be some similarities to the 2023 Chiefs.
Oh, you crazy.
I know, I get it, I probably deserve that. KC had an experienced play caller, so not the same thing there, but they have had or did have similar struggles that Philly's had this season. So check it. The Chiefs in 2023 were 15th in points per game with 21.8 and second in points per game allowed with 17.3. Meanwhile, the Eagles this season are 19th in points per game, 22.2 points per game, and 9th in points allowed per game with 20.8. Who knows, weaker part of the schedule coming up, Philly could close the gap there in terms of that margin, offensive output going up and the defense holding serve. It's not impossible. Either way, the bigger part to note, though, is that the Chiefs started out fairly strong with a 7-2 record before their bye week. However, coming out of the bye, I think we all remember the Eagles' win at Arrowhead that gave Philly some sort of bleak hope. Yet for Kansas City, it seemed to send them into a tailspin, as Mahomes and Andy Reid went 4-4 since the bye to end the season at 11-6. Of course, they still won the AFC West and hosted a playoff game, but let's just say the hope for KC wasn't too high entering the postseason. Since I'm not sure if you realize this, the Chiefs didn't win against a single playoff team during the regular season in 2023, besides the Miami Dolphins, who they then played again in the first round. Seriously, go back and look at it, and Kansas City was 0-4 against all other playoff teams during the regular season that year. Yes, the Detroit Lions in the opener, Eagles in Week 11, like I said, Green Bay Packers in Week 13, and Buffalo Bills in Week 14. In fact, their starters actually sat out of the regular season finale, so if you're trying to put this into context, following the Week 10 bye for the Kansas City Chiefs, their starters had a losing record. They went 3-4, with the most embarrassing loss coming on Christmas Day when the Raiders won 20-14 despite being 10.5-point underdogs. By the way, Las Vegas failed to score a single offensive touchdown that day and still somehow won. So just saying, if you're looking for some positivity amidst the sky is falling around Philadelphia, that's it.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Realistically, I still think that it's more likely than not that it doesn't happen, but crazier things have happened in the NFL. This year's been absolutely nuts. There's not a team that's really a juggernaut out there. And the Chiefs, like I just shared, I mean, that was a season that it did not look very good at all for them, yet they ended up going on to win the Super Bowl. Plus, if we're counting for Philly, they've already beaten 3 to 4 playoff teams this season. And much like the Chiefs in 2023, appear to be headed for the 3rd seed based on the NFC playoff picture. Look, maybe that's too optimistic, and you're saying get out of here like the Eagles did by removing the positivity rabbit from the locker room. Although it is worth the listen for how Jordan Davis feels.
Offense is going to have their games. And I'm so deep into this faith in the offense that I have that one day hopefully very, very soon it's going to click. And when it does click, watch out, because we all know what we're capable of. We all know that we're capable of much more, and we know that we can go out there and we can execute, we can be dominant. But we just have to keep putting in the work. We have to keep keeping the faith, because I feel like a lot of people are just kind of losing faith. And, whether that's y'all, whether that's the fans, whatever. But me, I'm still 10 toes down for this team. I'm still 10 toes down. Like, I hope that we go out there one game and we just put 100 ball on it, and we play a high level of defense. And I have the faith, and I'm always telling them, I'm always confident. I always say before we walk out, go on the field for the game, I say, look, each and every in this locker room, I have full faith in. Because I wouldn't be playing this game at my purest confidence if I wasn't confident in the team that I have behind me. And I'm really grateful. I'm grateful because even though we're not doing too hot on the offensive side, when you have somebody that tells you that they believe in you, they at least want to play hard for them. And if that's all they give me, I'm cool with that. And I just want them to feed off that energy, feed off that faithfulness that I have in them, and I just want them to have that for themselves. Now, whether they take it or they taste it one ear out the other, at least they know that I have faith, and they know, and at the bottom of my heart, because I'm never going to sit there and I'm never going to tell you a lie. I love this team. 10 times out of 10 times, I will be with this team every game. And I have no doubt about it. Like, one day it's going to click, and one day we're going to get it right. But we just have to keep working. It's hard to go on my soapbox in the spiel, but, I love this team, man. I love this team, and I love this offense, and I love the guys that's in this room. Like, this locker room means so much to me. It means so much to me, and when I see everything kind of just milling around, it's my job to make sure everybody is up and up. Be positive. Crack a joke here. You see a smile. I'm like, man, why is that smile hiding today? I don't want to see that. We're too good not to be happy, and we're too blessed not to be in this position and not be happy at what we're doing, and we just had to keep going.
Curious to get your guys' thoughts, though. Don't blame you if it doesn't at all, but does it change your perspective in any way? Does it offer just the slightest bit of hope for you? Anyway, back to reality. The Eagles only held a walkthrough on Wednesday due to the shortened week, so naturally the first injury report of the week was an estimated one, but let's get you caught up on where we're at for the game against the Raiders. First for the Eagles, again, like I just said, it's a walkthrough, so just an estimation, but Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson were DNPs. The early reports, though, were Lane Johnson would try to play or would be playing against the Raiders, so I'm not totally giving up on that. Jalen Carter, not so much, which I'm fine with. Give him as much rest as possible. Landon Dickerson, the calf injury was estimated limited. Good news for Zach Bond, the handful participant, as well as Charlie Hewlett, who will eventually be activated very soon. Honestly, the biggest news, and one that we can just about officially commit to, is that Ian Rappaport shared that Geno Smith is dealing with a shoulder injury he suffered last week against the Broncos and is unlikely to start on Sunday, meaning that Kenny Pickett, former Eagles quarterback Kenny Pickett, is in line to start against the Eagles. Of course, Maxx Crosby was also a DNP during Wednesday's practice as he's continued to deal with a knee injury throughout the season. He's gutted out, though, so I do expect him to play on Sunday. And then Colton Miller returned to practice, but a limited participant. He's been dealing with an ankle, but he is their starting left tackle, so maybe a little bit of good news for the Raiders. Lots of other guys, DNPs limited. It's early in the week. We'll keep you posted up to date as we get further along. As always, do me a favor, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, keep those notifications turned on. We're almost to 149,000 subscribers. Can't thank you guys enough. Only possible because of you. More videos to come, giveaways, everything else. I'll catch you in the next one. This has been the Philly Special.
Like I should feel like I should go.